Hello inflatable fans, I hope you're all well. Today I'm doing another test with the Hiqmar eFIN. This will be my third and final test with it, with the setup that they've sent me. If you've seen the previous test video, you'll know that I had issues with it staying in sport mode, and the only thing left I could think of to try was changing the charger. So I swapped the charger over, recharged the battery. Let's give it a go. So I'm at Naban Lock this time. I did pop down here on Friday and I couldn't launch because the water level was just too high. Whereas the previous tests I've done with this, I've done from Bishopthorpe, but I know I'll struggle to get in the water there, so this is why I've come to Naban today to try this out, because I'm only doing a bit of a distance test really, and also to see whether this will stay in sport mode or not, whether it keeps cutting out like it did last time. So I'm just going to paddle out into beyond the lock and into the river itself. Right, I'm out. So let's put this into drive mode and get going. Now I have got my trusty Garmin with me today. I think you can see that's currently saying we're doing 3.1 miles an hour, 3.2. The only thing I'm going to have to watch out for a bit today is a bit of leaf debris in the water. It might get caught up in the prop. But as usual, every time I've tested this, I've loved this. It's just so nice pootling along. I'm getting a bit warm, I'm going to have to take my hat off. It's just so nice pootling along. Right, let's pop this into sport mode. You can probably hear the sound of the engine change there. And by engine, I mean motor. Cutting through the water nicely. 3.7, 3.8 it has been up to. A little bit of course correction. One of the things I do find with these is it is better to course correct using a positive stroke with your paddle rather than digging your paddle in and using that to stop and turn the boat in that direction. It just makes more sense. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop it out of sport mode, back to drive. So we've been running for 4 minutes with a little bit in sport mode. Now, according to the specs, this is supposed to run for 5 hours in drive, 1 hour in sport. Now those are totals, so if you just had it in drive, you'd hopefully get about 5 hours just in drive. That's not using sport at all. Obviously, if you're mixing and matching between them, that's going to vary, the run time. I've just had to do a quick camera battery change, so currently been running for about 7 minutes now. And pootling along at around 2.3, 2.4 miles an hour. And what you've got to bear in mind is I'm travelling upriver, and like I mentioned earlier, the landing that I launched from had been flooded because there's a lot of water in this river at the moment, so it will be moving a little bit faster. But I think now let's put it back into sport mode and see what happens. Because last time it kept cutting out of sport and going into drive. Doing alright at the minute. This is Acaster Malbis on my left. The interesting thing about course correcting when it is travelling at this speed, currently doing about 3.5 miles an hour, is because you're moving, you have to actually move your paddle quite fast. Right, I'm going to drop it out of sport, back to drive. 2.2, 2.3. Might as well have a little snack while we're doing this. Hard work, this paddling malarkey. Takes a lot of energy. One of the lovely things about today is the lack of wind. And you can tell that by the reflections on the water. Because even though this is flowing, it's quite calm and still. It's nice. Good day to do a test like this, because you know that the motor's not going to be affected too much by adverse conditions. I think I've got a boat coming up behind me. I need to get wing mirrors on this thing. I'm going to get caught up in his wake in a minute. There we go. Swept me to the side a bit. Bring it back round. Put it in sport mode, see if we can catch him up. Let's do it anyway. Only doing about 3 miles an hour at the minute. Oh, I think it's just dropped down. There might be something in the skeg, I'll just need to check that. I've been running for about 16 minutes. So let me just stop it. That boat has stirred up quite a bit of leaf debris and so on. And it might be that there's some bits caught in the prop. So I'm just going to put it in reverse. Just to see if there needs to clear anything out. Stop. And then put it back in drive. I'll get it going again first so that it's not fighting to go forward from being in reverse. There we go. Bit of course correction. That boat certainly created some wash on the water, some ripples and so on. Ruined the look. Right, we'll try this in sport mode again. And we're off. There's a boat over there with its motor running. So whilst we launched from Naban Loch, this is actually Naban Village. The loch is about half a mile out of the village. Doing about 2.9 miles an hour in sport mode. It's staying in sport mode, so that must have just been a bit of weed in the prop last time. Been running for 21 minutes and we've done about a mile. I'm a few hundred yards further down, mouthful of biscuit, sorry about that, and still going in sport mode. Doing alright. Pootling along at about 3 miles an hour. I do kind of want to test it downriver with the current, so I don't want to use all the juice going upriver and against the flow. So I'm going to drop it down now, back into drive mode. I think what I'll do is, one of my favourite little bridges is a bit further up, so I'll motor up to that and use that as the turnaround point, I think. It's about 300 yards up here. If you're a regular follower to this channel, you might recall that it was on this mooring here that I got out and first talked about this Aquatec Ottawa after I'd paddled up to here on my first outing with it. And I do still love this boat. The only thing that's naff about it is the seat. So I'm trying out an Aquaglide seat today. I bought a Chelan for a big trip that I'm doing next year. The Chelan 140, which is a 2-seater. I only need 1 seat. So I'm trying out the other seat in here today just to see what it's like. It's not bad so far. It's a lot more comfortable than the seat that comes with it, and it saves me having to put a cushion on. Tootling along, I think, I don't know whether you can see that, about 2 miles an hour. Like a bar and restaurant up there, if ever you're interested. It's supposed to be really nice. I mean, it's got great views, hasn't it, with all that window, open window viewing. The waterfront, that's it, at York Marina. Got another boat going, another boat going, got another boat coming, which means I'm going to be paddling into the wash this time. Turn into it. There we go. Knackering my test up there. Not really. Bit of backwash. Moody. That's how I'm going to feel if this fin doesn't work out. I have to say, what is really nice about this fin is it makes a great paddle assist. So as you can see, I am not doing really big heavy strokes, and with the motor in drive I'm easily hitting 3 miles an hour. Sorry, I just burped as I said that. Does that sound classy? That's me. Right, it's just made a bit of a noise. I'm just going to stop it, put it in reverse. I think something's probably got caught. That should be enough. Let's get going again. Bit of forward momentum. And then hit drive. Nearly at the bridge. There we go, that sounds better. Now just coming into view for you, you should be able to see a bridge, and on top of that bridge, a great little sculpture, I say little sculpture, a great sculpture of a man fishing with a dog. It's a wire sculpture. I always found that fascinating for some reason. I think it's a great little landmark. Disused railway bridge. And the fish that he has on the end of his line is actually a train. And this is what we're going to use as my turnaround point today. So as I approach this, just over 1.5 miles, so it'll be just about a 3 mile round trip today. It's top corner there, just in case you want to see it. Currently pootling along about 2.2. There is a lot of leaf debris in this area. Oh, I've just heard the prop go again. Stop. It's funny that I should say that, isn't it? Just as it happened, pop it in reverse. Stop. Drive. Cool, isn't it? I don't know whether you can make that train out on the end of his line. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to circle around the centerpiece there, the support. One thing I have noticed with this fin in is it is not quite hard to turn. Well, yeah, it is quite hard to turn because you've already got a lot of momentum going. Now let's stick it back in drive mode. And see how far we get. Or see what speed we get, I should say. Now we're going down river. 2.6 to 3 miles an hour. Let me just course correct. Not really ploughing into any boats. What are we doing? About 3.3, 3.4, 3.5. Just goes to show how fast the flow is. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it in sport mode and just literally see how long it lasts. I've only got 1.5 miles to get back. Let's do it. .2, 4.3, 4.4. I'm kind of getting out of it. I mean, you can tell I'm pootling along, can't you? Looking at the speed at which things are passing. I've got to put my hat back on. You know when you've got a bit of a draft, it starts to feel a bit chilly. Because obviously I'm not doing an awful lot in terms of activity here. Still powering along nicely. Let's have a look and see how long we've been out. This is the Garmin eTrex, by the way. Time 41 minutes. Need to course correct. I do seem to be veering a little bit to the right. I don't know why that is, or whether it's just because I'm heading into that area. Hey-oh! Bloody hell, got another boat coming. Look at that. Very gentle. A lot of debris here though. I have a funny feeling the crop's going to tell me about it in a minute. Okay, that's just dropped out. It's dropped from drive to sport to drive. I'm just going to stop it. I'm going to put it in reverse just to check that the prop is clear, because it might be if there's been some resistance. Stop. Right, put it back in drive. And then try sport again. That might have been it, you know. It might have been that there was a bit of resistance on the prop. Another boat, what's going on? This time of year there's not supposed to be many people around. Bloody hell. Inconsiderate people enjoying the water. Currently doing about 4.7. This one's creating a bit more of a wash. Thank you very much. Well, we're almost back at Acast and Malbis. Currently done, I just have to course correct. Currently done 2.48 miles, so we've done a mile really quickly. 49 minutes total. And moving along nicely at 4.6, 4.7, 4.8 miles an hour. I'm still in sport mode. I wonder if I finally got this sorted. It's one of those funny things. It's not that I'm interested in the speed. When I first took this out, it just cut out. And then the sport mode started cutting out on the second test. All I want is, I just want it to work. Thankfully, Bill Hyam, where I bought this from, I'll put the name on the screen. They've been really good. Been communicating with a chap called Alid, and he's been staying in touch, finding out how I'm getting on with things, and quite happy for me to return the bits that need returning. They're going to pay for it. Really good. Totally recommend Bill Hyam. I think they're called Bill Hyam Water Sports. Very good customer service. Sheesh, the paddle assist when you in sport mode, 5 miles an hour. Mind you, as I say, I am going downhill. Anyway, well, I think on. If you like what I'm doing on this channel, you know what to do about liking and subscribing, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I do appreciate you watching and your comments and your feedback. So keep that up, you're doing well. Still bombing along, we're just approaching 56 minutes. I think I've just heard something get stuck in the prop. So I'm just going to stop it, put it in reverse. But yeah, the fact that it's just stayed in sport mode, I'm really chuffed. Right, stop reverse. Right, let's put it back in drive. And then up to sport. Not far to go now. Up ahead, roughly centre screen, you can probably just make out the orange bollards that stop traffic going over the weir. Hello. We're going into dock. To dock in the lock. Or should I? So we've been out for about an hour, just over an hour. Should I not run this a bit more, just to see what it'll do? I think I should. I'm going back upriver for a bit. Drive mode. Sport mode. You're supposed to do these in increments and not just go straight into sport. Well, somewhat to my surprise, we've actually reached Naburn Village, and I've been going for up there 4 miles in 1 hour and 18 minutes, and we're still in sport mode. So since I set off back, it's been nearly 20 minutes in sport mode alone, and add that to the trip back, and if I now turn round in sport mode and head back, I think that'll give me a fair indication that this is alright. I mean, I think it will cut out at some point because I've been doing quite a lot in drive mode too. But let's turn round and head back and see what happens. I need to stop it. I can't really turn this thing in sport mode. I don't know whether you could tell from the hyperlapse footage, probably not, but I had to stop 3 times to clear debris from the prop, leaf debris and so on. I'll show you when we get to the end if there's any debris still stuck in the prop, because if it's worked with stuff stuck in it, we know it's good. Okay, drive. And sport. Let's go. Right, I'm just pulling up to where I launched. I've literally had to stop the motor. It's I know that when I get the prop out, it's going to be full of leaf debris. I tried clearing it a few times just back there before I started paddling, and it wasn't having any of it. So what it's actually done today, 5¼ miles, we've done actually 5¼ miles, 1 hour and 30 minutes, 1 hour and 34 minutes, thereabouts, and it's done the last 30 minutes where I got back here and then went back up in sport mode, plus the sport mode back from Naburn Lock when I came down here, which would have been about another 10 to 15 minutes, and then whatever else I've done. So I think it's fair to say, solved the problem. I think this is actually functioning all right now, at last. You know, I said there'd be a bit of debris in the prop. Yeah, I think it just kind of got a bit too much for it. It's at this side, I think, where it's been an issue. Yeah, you can see it's just kind of jammed up. There's a lot in there. I'll get that cleared out anyway. Look at that. I'll put the chart on the screen for these stats. When you look at the chart, you can see, I'll put some arrows on this, I think, to make it easier for you to see. You can see the bits that are above the white line, and those are the bits where I was travelling downriver with the current behind me. Yeah, as I say, this has done really well today. 3.3 miles an hour average speed, which is generally above my average paddling speed, but then I often fanny around with the camera and I have to stop paddling when I do that. But with this, you don't have to, so it's quite handy for that. I'm quite impressed with that today. Thank you, Bill Higham, Water Sports. Oh, I can't remember the name. Put it on the screen. I hope you found this video useful, everybody that's watched it. This is a good product. Mine was just a bit faulty, but as I say, thankfully Bill Higham have been really good in helping me sort that out. Thank you so much for watching. You take care of yourself. Cheerio.